Hi, everyone. Welcome to CI 557X, Leadership and Disciplinary Literacy. I'm Dr. Jeanne Dyches, and I'm going to be your professor for the duration of the course. I hope you are all logging in today after having had a relaxing, restful summer. I know as teachers and educators, more generally, that is sometimes not the way we spend our summers, but I hope you are as excited as I am to get started with what I think, and I hope you will find to also be true, is a really exciting course and one that is going to open up some really cool avenues of conversation for everyone who's a part of our team. So I want to talk to you a little bit today about the course and what you can expect generally, and also what you can expect in terms of our week 1 assignments. So first of all, I just want to start with a brief introduction. Again, I am Jeanne Dyches, and I am a former high school English teacher. I taught high school English in Raleigh, North Carolina for 5 years, and I also was a literacy coach. I did my undergrad and my master's at NC State and completed my PhD at UNC Chapel Hill. So that's not really a problem until college basketball season starts. But so I'm excited to be at Iowa State. This is year 2 for me. I help co-direct the literacy coaching program here with Dr. Howell. I've had several of you guys in previous courses, and I'm super excited to have all of you coming back in some cases for your 3rd class. So welcome back. And for those of you who are new to not just courses around literacy, but also in some cases even master's work or graduate work in general, I hope you will find this class to be really meaningful and beneficial to whatever your professional goals are. So having said that, this course is really exciting, and that is the first time it's been offered. Dr. Howell and I spent last year designing it and running it through the proper channels, but we're really excited to offer a course in disciplinary literacy targeted toward our graduate students. As I'm sure many of you know, disciplinary literacy is certainly the buzz phrase in 2017. And it has been really since about 2008. But with the advent of the Common Core state standards, we're seeing more and more schools taking an interest in how they can make sure that teachers of all disciplines, math, science, English, and social studies, are helping position their students to both consume and produce knowledge and text and mastery of those conversations that are discipline specific. So that's a really interesting turn from what we have been teaching for a long time in terms of this idea of literacy is left to the elementary teachers, or we sometimes hear literacy is something that English teachers do. So disciplinary lit really pushes us to rethink those boundaries of who both facilitates it and also what constitutes literacy. So I hope you will find that this class is designed in a way that first gently introduces you into these really seemingly starkly different conversations than what we've been having within the field, and then ultimately works you through understanding these various ways in which you, as either a in-service classroom teacher or as a literacy coach or as a leader of some sort in your professional sphere, can work to make sure that literacy-rich disciplinary practices are being embedded and woven throughout your particular context. So our class is online. There's a significant portion of all of you who are actually local and perhaps taking classes here in Lago. So if you ever need to schedule a time to talk, my office hours are Tuesday from 4 to 5, and certainly by appointment. And for those of us who are online in the more traditional sense of the word, I am always available for Google Hangouts. We also use Zoom, so we can set that up. I'm happy to talk with you on the phone. Email is always a good bet. But please know that I'm here for you if you have any questions or concerns. I don't want you to feel like perhaps you felt in some other classes that you've taken online in that you feel like you can't perhaps reach out or make a personal contact. So I'm always here and I'm always happy to chat about any questions or concerns or feedback that you have. So please know that that is very sincere. I think the biggest change for some of you anyway will be that we are moving, Iowa State as a collective is moving from Blackboard to Canvas. Every course has to move to Canvas by the spring of 2018. We have decided within the literacy coaching program to move certain classes onto Canvas this semester. So we are actually going to be using Canvas for 557X. It's very similar to Blackboard. I don't think you're going to have any struggles. In fact, I actually find the interface much more user-friendly. So just play around with it. Know that I'm also trying to figure out the system myself. So if I do anything kind of wonky, just kind of bear with me a bit because I'm definitely new to it as well. So we'll figure it out together. The syllabus has been posted, so you want to check that out, read through it. General information in terms of disability services, academic integrity, nothing sort of out of the way there, but please read through that and see if you have any questions. I do want to talk to you briefly about assignments. I'm going to spend more time talking with you about those assignments as they near closer, but I do want to spend a little bit of time talking about what you have going on for this week. So for week 1, you're going to have a couple different, 3 different actually, discussion posts. And when you log in, you will see what those various tasks look like. I try to keep it interesting so that you're not just answering a question, but perhaps you're exploring something in a way that is wedded to a project. So I may have you do a Venn diagram where you do a comparison and a contrast, or I may have you make a timeline of a particular phenomenon's evolution. I may have you read a critique and push back against that. Watch a video and generate some sort of list in which you are critiquing and analyzing or perhaps synthesizing that video against some of the scholarly pieces that you read for that week. But definitely try to keep it interesting so that you're not just having to read and read and read and write and write and write. Sorry about that. My office light just went on because I was talking so long. I guess I need to speed it up. Okay, so in addition to those posts, I'm also going to ask each of you to upload an introductory video. So you can do that in a few different ways. You can just record it on your phone and upload it to YouTube, which is what most people do. You should have an app on your phone, or certainly you can get an app on your phone that will allow you to do that pretty easily. There's other ways to do it, but I've just found within these courses, it's just much easier to use that particular format. So I'm going to ask you to just upload 2 to 3 minutes in which you talk about who you are, your educational background, what you're doing now professionally, about your family, about your goals within being in grad school. And I'd ask for all of you to conclude your video by discussing what you hope to get from this course. And I certainly don't expect you to have all the answers, but if there's particular questions or there's a particular objective that you have in taking the course, I'd really like to hear that. And that becomes a space in which when I hear what you say, it's really helpful in terms of modifying our course activities and readings to be responsive to what it is that you as a collective and individually are really interested in exploring. So everyone will post their intro video, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you to answer or complete your discussion posts in groups. And I do that for a few different purposes, but I think it just works better when we're in these small group discussions. Instead of feeling like we have to comment on every single person's response or skip and skim, really getting to know people within your particular context, and learning each other throughout the semester, and providing that really substantive feedback. So those groups have been posted on Canvas. You should see them when you go to the discussion section. I'm also going to have them listed in a separate document that's also going to be listed on the sidebar in Canvas. So check that out. If you don't see it, or if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out and I will let you know which group you belong to. In terms of what you're reading for this week, you're going to read Chapter 1 from the McConaughey and Petrosky textbook. I hope you will find that book really informative, because I certainly do. You're also going to read Moji's piece on the 4 E's model of disciplinary inquiry. So this is a really important text that runs throughout the course. So if you'll notice in our syllabus, I've actually broken our course down into her 4 E's. So those are engage, that's the first. Number 2 is elicit/engineer. 3 is examine, and 4 is evaluate. And Moji's premise is that if we're really going to examine disciplinary literacies, we need to do so in a way that centers this particular model, and specifically centers finding ways for students to ask questions and evaluate critically what's happening within each discipline, and that this framework certainly helps position students to act as apprentices into our disciplines. So read this article carefully, but keep in mind that we're going to return to this article throughout the semester. You're going to actually use this framework when you're planning your final project. So if all of it doesn't make sense to you on day 1, that's okay. Just know that we will, from time to time, weave this or weave our conversations back into Moji's piece. You have a very brief statement from the International Literacy Association, in which they talk about what exactly is disciplinary literacy, and they examine it in comparison to content area, and also look at what disciplinary looks like specific to our 4 core areas: math, science, English, and social studies. And then I just found this blog post that I think is really exciting. So the folks who coined the phrase disciplinary literacy are the Shanahans, and they have a blog that's interesting to peruse from time to time. So just in July, there was a blog post in which the Shanahans spoke to critics within the field who, according to the Shanahans, are really confusing folks about what is disciplinary versus content area literacy. So it's a really fascinating blog post, and if you read the comments, I think it gets even more fascinating. So just read through that, and I think that will perhaps give you a little bit more context in terms of what we're doing in this course broadly, but also what we're focusing on in week 1, where our question is, what exactly is disciplinary literacy? So I think you will find those pieces interesting. As always, if you have any questions, please reach out. I do my best to get back to you within a few hours, and at the absolute max, it will be every 24 hours. I don't even know if I've ever taken 24, but that would be the max. Also be mindful that your discussion posts, unless otherwise noted, are going to be due every Friday at 11:59. So just be mindful of that as you're preparing your week. And I'm going to try as much as I can to get each module up and running the weekend before it should technically open. So technically, or sort of best practice, or most common practice anyway, is for instructors to open modules on the Monday of a particular academic week. But I'm going to try to open the modules and have the work up and running for everyone by Saturday. And my reasoning behind that is, having taught these courses before, teaching mostly teachers, there's been a request to open up those tasks over the weekend so that they could work on them when they weren't teaching. So that makes good sense to me. So I will try to have those up, like I said, Saturday at the latest, and sometimes even Friday. So just kind of keep an eye out for those. But again, at the latest, those will all modules will be up and ready to view by Monday at 8 a.m. I know that's a lot of information. It's just a real quick skim of the syllabus. Like I said, we'll spend more time going through these various assignments in subsequent weeks, but you can certainly read through those course descriptions and see if you have any questions. Otherwise, I'm looking forward to seeing you online. I can't wait to see what you have to say about our tasks for week 1. And I hope you all have a great first week back at school, and I will see you very soon. Bye.